and Tourist Association President. Mr. Bill Jones, Deputy Consul General and members of staff of the Consulate, Mr. Christopher Wright, Business Development Manager of the Jamaica Tourist Board, and Mr. Christopher DaCosta, also of the JTB, Mr. Maurice Brand, Events Coordinator for the Kingston City Run, aficionados of running, members of the media, friends all, certainly a pleasure to welcome you here to the Consulate. It is an interesting thing to have an event such as a Kingston City Run for a number of reasons. And it really captures three things that I think are very important to us as Jamaicans. One, it really features Kingston as a tourist capital, as a tourist destination. And I think the run, I won't get into the details, but the run certainly takes you through some of the iconic features, structures in Kingston. And having run the inaugural one, I can certainly say that I've seen some places on the inside that I've never seen before. Secondly, it promotes sports as one of our main features as Jamaicans. Of course, given our prowess in the sporting arena generally, and certainly in running. And it also promotes a healthy lifestyle, which I think most of us here who are runners recognize the benefits almost immediately of maintaining that healthy lifestyle. So for those reasons, I certainly would encourage all of us to make the time and to go down to Kingston next year, March, to participate in this 4th annual running. We have a short program here this evening. I will now hand over to Mrs. Madden-Greig, who will say brief words, and then we'll have other features being presented throughout the course of the evening. So thank you very much. Thank you for bringing the weather, and thank you for making the time to share with us this evening. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Before I start, I just want to thank you, Franz Hall, our Consul General here in Miami. He has been a gracious host and has allowed us to invade his premises today to launch the 4th annual Kingston City Run. As you have heard, Kingston City Run is in our 4th year, and when we thought about this 4 years ago, actually it started maybe 10 years ago. We thought about doing something very unique and different for Kingston. And we tried to get other promoters to do it at the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association Kingston chapter, and nobody would take us on. Nobody believed in the dream. And one year we just got up and said, you know what, we're going to do it ourselves. And so we did. And the reason why we did that is because we truly believe that this is one way to showcase Kingston and its magnificent, iconic attractions. So the run does take you through Devon House. It starts at Emancipation Park, you run through Devon House. You also go through King's House, which is of course the Governor General's residence, and many of us usually pass it on Hope Road, but don't actually go through there at any occasion. And it's wonderful that ordinary Jamaicans, international visitors, just family and friends can get an opportunity to run through the beautiful gardens of King's House. Of course, the run continues and we go through Hope Gardens, through the zoo. We just go past Bob Marley Museum and really go through some of the really interesting parts of Kingston, some of the really nice neighborhoods. And it goes up a hill, it comes down, so there's different undulations and give persons a little bit of a challenge as they go through the run itself. But part of why we decided to host the Kingston City Run is not just to showcase Kingston, but also to support a lot of what we call the vulnerable persons in our communities. And that has been one of the most things that we have focused on, and that is homelessness. We look at it from the point of view that any city is only as strong as its weakest link, and we recognize that something we want to eliminate from our capital city is the plight of homeless persons. And so we have been supporting charities like Missionaries of the Poor, Open Arm Drop-In Center, which houses over 100 men, specifically focusing on men. Some of them have been deported, some of them have just run into hard times, and they rehabilitate them and give them an opportunity to find work. They do skills training. Some of the money we have raised over the last few years, we have managed to help to set up a car wash center, a skills training center, and it really makes a difference in a person's life. I talk about, when we are doing this, and it's coming from passion, we have gone to the various charities, and one day I went down to Open Arms Drop-In Center just to see what they were doing and how we could partner with them. And when you're doing charity work, sometimes you don't know the faces, you're just helping people. And I walked in and I saw a schoolmate of mine who had run into hard times, university graduate, and just had a tough licking life. And so I recognized that what we're doing has meaning, has real meaning. So for us at the JHD Kingston chapter, it's a very important thing to celebrate and to work with the persons in our communities to ensure that Kingston City Run changes lives. Changes lives from the point of view of getting people off the street, putting them through rehabilitation, and ensuring that they too can enjoy our capital city in a different way. So when you come, you will see that that's a part of the mandate. And what we are doing is when you register, you can also visit the charities. So it's not just about going and having fun, which we want you to do, of course. So we start off, as I said, Friday night we have our Bacchanal Carnival party. On Saturday we have our Lifestyle, Health and Fitness Expo, and on Sunday is Race Day. But we also want you to be able to give back, so that spirit of volunteerism is all mixed into the whole thing. What we also want to celebrate with the Kingston City Run is that it is just one of many different elements that we're putting together to reposition Kingston and to change a perception that so many of us have had over the years, which is not the reality. Kingston is a very vibrant, fun city. We have a lot that is happening. The recent designation of the Blue and Jonquil Mountains by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, the first and only one in Jamaica. We need a round of applause for that. Has really put us on a different trajectory. And there are people who are now flying in. JTB has been bringing them down, and just so excited to go up into the mountains and hike and do bird watching. And all of that has been happening over the years. But sometimes we as Jamaicans and as Kingstonians, we forget that we have these assets in our own city. And as you know, Kingston and St. Andrew, as we call it, Kingston, is just one part of what you can do. So you base yourself in Kingston, you do the run, you can volunteer, but you can go out and you can experience all the other wonderful attractions in and around the capital city. Last year we had, actually this year, sorry, just over, Mike is giving me a hard time, just over 3,000 runners on the streets, starting at 6 a.m. in the morning. I want to give a story. All of you were in Miami-Dade. 12 years ago, there was a similar dream. A gentleman called Frankie Ruiz. Who knows him?
Frankie Ruiz.
You know him. He had a dream for something now known as the Miami Marathon. He started it 12 years ago, family and friends, in their home. They started with just over 2,000 participants, and 12 plus years later, there are 25,000 participants, and we all know the economic benefits to the Miami-Dade County. We have a similar vision for Kingston City Run. We started 4 years ago with just under 2,000 participants. We have grown to over 3,000 participants, and we want to see when we hit that 12-year mark, we're definitely up to the 15,000. And that's why we're here today, to solicit your support. The Miami Marathon has about, I think, international participation rate is about 30%, and that's something we are targeting. Not only do we want our Jamaicans in Jamaica, but those in the diaspora who will bring family and friends, international guests, visitors from all over. So you don't have to solicit just from here. We know we have family and friends worldwide. And so we have, this year just gone, we had persons who participated from the USA, of course, from Canada, from Germany, from Spain, from Cayman, from Trinidad, from Barbados. And we've already had participants signed up from Norway for this year. So it is getting reach. And we are very excited for the kind of reach that the Kingston City Run is now garnering. So we are here this year just to let you know a little bit more about the event. Our charities and the route. Maurice Bryan, who is going to speak to you for a few minutes, will give you a little bit more detail about the route itself. But also, just to tell you again, the very important component is not only just to participate in the race, but to work with us to help our charities. And you can do that by, of course, participating in the race itself, but you can also donate online or at any NCB branch in Jamaica. So we are giving you all the opportunities to help to support some really good causes. And it's important that we recognize that we need to help and that these things do make a difference in people's lives. So I'm going to close there and just thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. And I know that you will all be with us in March. That's March 13 for the race. So starting on March 11 to March 13, enjoying Kingston City Run. And just the last note, all our hotels in Kingston are offering special rates and vacation packages. We have partnerships with tour operators and travel agents. Some of them have been working with us from before. And we will continue to offer some really attractive packages that includes not only your registration, but the hotel, transfers, optional tours, everything. And the last thing on that is we are also offering a come-along package. So if any of you are avid runners in the room? A few? You can come to Jamaica with your group. You have to just find 15 other friends who want to come with you, and your hotel is free, your race registration free, all your event participation is free. So it's a come-along package. You just need to find other people to come with you, and you come for free.
Runners and limers.
What's that?
Runners and limers.
Runners and limers. So it's a great way to make a group move and to come and have some good fun. Go up into the Blue Mountains. Those of you who have not been up that side in a while, experience all of what is now world famous and world stamped in terms of the Blue and Jonker Mountains, as well as do some of the charity work that is also important. So I thank you, and I'm going to hand over to Maurice.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It is wonderful to see a good turnout, a great turnout to this event. I thank you very much. I know persons have traveled from very far, some close, but in this inclement weather, I really thank you for coming out. And I just want to give a rundown of the route, the race route that we have. Mrs. Greig touched on it a bit, and I know we have a room full of Jamaicans, so I know when I name the roads and the places, you will know exactly what I'm talking about, right? For some, it's going to bring back nostalgia. I may just speak without this mic, but... So we start all our races, and by the way, it is a mixture of 3 races. It's a 5K run and walk, a 10K, and the 10K is run and walk as well. The 10K is just a run, and then we have the half marathon run. Those all start from 6 o'clock in the morning. We start them on a scheduled basis, so the runners are dispersed neatly and there's no bundling. Safety is key for us. I'm just going to go without the mic. Safety is key for us for the run. So the 5K starts off, all of them on Trafalgar Road, right by the NCB atrium. Everyone's familiar with that. You travel towards Devon House. You pass what we call our party stands, our spectator stands. Pulse has put out their models. All of the runners need a little bit of motivation. So we give them all the motivation they can get. So the Pulse models are out cheering everybody on. And we have fan zones like this throughout all the routes, just to keep everybody pumped and going. So you go through Devon House and you literally run through the property. They've been gracious to allow us to do so. Through the historic gates, looking at the mansion, and as Mrs. Greig said, a lot of our own Jamaicans, we've never seen the inside. You've gone to Devon House, the Devon House ice cream, you've never seen the mansion from the front, you've never gone through the historic mansion gates. So you run through there, then you exit through the back of Devon House onto Devon Road. We take the back route through King's House. You run through with our Governor General. He has run with us before, and they're really gracious as well for allowing us to run through their property.
Through the house?
Not through the house. Not through the house. We try and behave ourselves so we can get there the next year. So we run through the property, exit onto Hope Road, which is right across from TGIF, the major intersection of Hope Road and East King's House Road. The 5K runners will cross over onto Lady Musgrave, take Lady Musgrave to meet back up with Trafalgar Road, take your right back onto Trafalgar Road, circling around, then turn onto Knutsford Boulevard. Everybody still with me? Are you tired yet? You're not tired yet. It's only the 5K. And then they run right down to Emancipation Park, where we'll all be waiting with the carnival ladies and everything, along with massage tents. So make sure that you're well taken care of when you finish. Now, for the 10K runners, once you exit, because everybody is together, once you exit King's House, you continue up Hope Road. You're going to be passing Bob Marley Museum, again with an iconic, we put somebody out there with reggae music, getting you the vibe and everything for our wonderful culture. And the 10K runners go up to, correct me if I'm wrong, to Marley Road. They back onto East King's House Road, circle around, double up, and come back. And then they to Paddington, and then they take over from where the 5K runners came, ending back up at Emancipation Park. Now we've left the 10K. From where the 10K turned, the half marathon runners will continue all the way up to the Hope Zoo, and they run through the Hope Zoo and Gardens. It is a beautiful sight. Now they have done some wonderful work in the Hope Zoo. The new Chinese garden, there are new animals there that come out to watch the races. Believe me, they do. They love it. The animals love it. And the runners love it too. So a lot of distraction helps the pain, because once you're a half marathon runner, when you reach that point, you need some distraction to take away the pain. So they go through the Hope Gardens and the Hope Zoo. They circle that, exit the direction they came from, and then just double back that route, come all the way back to Emancipation Park, where we'll all be waiting for them. Now, water stops, the water stations are very important to runners. So as a part of logistics, we do have quite a bit of water stops to keep everyone refreshed, hydrated. It's very important to us. So we have about 4 water stations for the 5K, about 7 water stops for the 10K, and over 12 water stops for the half marathon. So we have both water and hydration fluids, courtesy of our sponsors every year. And throughout the route, we have medic stations throughout the route. When you're back at Emancipation Park, there's a medic tent to take care of any need that may pop up at all. We take this very seriously. Everybody's health and safety is our concern and our utmost priority. For the runners, the 10K runners and the half marathon runners all get a finishing medal, because that is a feat in itself to do. So they all get a medal, and the 5K runners all get a participation certificate. Believe me, people, they rush us for these certificates and medals. It's a big thing. I would want it too. Hint, hint, I'm trying to get my boss to have me run the race so I can speak about it a little bit more. But we have that, and then we end at Emancipation Park with a grand party and awards ceremony. There are over, I think it grows every year, over 40 prizes, including airline trips, hotel stays across the island, in Kingston and across the island, dinners for 2, spa treatments, tours, trophies, you name it. We have lots of prizes for everyone that come down. What else is there to say about the logistics for the race? We have Chris Jarrett, who unfortunately could not be here today. He is in charge of arranging the logistics for the race to make sure everything is in place on the day. We have test runs that go through the routes, and it is officially timed and placed on the calendar for running, and that certifies the route. So it is certified as a certified running route. It is tested, tried, proven. So when our runners hit that on race day, it has been done so many times. And it's a good training ground as well. We want to encourage you to get your runners out. If you're not a runner, the 5K is beautiful. You run, you walk. We say come for the run, stay for the fun. A lot of people, they walk with their babies. You see them with the strollers pushing along and just enjoying. It starts very early in the morning. That's the first thing persons ask. Is it so hot? It must be so hot, because it's in Jamaica, of course. Now, Miami persons, I know Florida persons, they're used to the heat. So they can come down. By the time you're done with the 5K, the sun is just popping up over the hills. By the time you're done with the 10K, it's just a little bit up there. The half marathoners, we keep you refreshed enough that once you finish, you're still cooled down. We have the misting truck. You'll see pictures of it with people having a ball with a misting truck. All right, so if you have any questions afterwards, and I know it's a lot of information to absorb, we do have that in the media kits for the media personnel to leave with, and for others as well if you wish to take that along. Everything is on our website, www.kingstoncityrun.com, and we will email you any additional information you need. Key thing to note, registration is already open and kicking. We've gotten registrants already, so please encourage persons to go for the early bird rates that are up and running. Early bird rates go until February, I think mid-February of next year, so tell them to get it while it's hot. Okay, and as we said, we're going to be working with the tour operators, the travel agents, the radio stations to get the come-along groups coming down, because it's all about putting Kingston back on the map as a tourist destination. So we look forward to your support, and thank you once again.